Talulah. 1,000 half-loves must be forsaken to take one whole heart home. Rumi. Morning glory reached Willow Park. Jimbo sits cross-legged on the center of the basketball court, surrounded by 7 children. He began attendance. Monty, it's as if I wasn't the reason his parents are together. Monty roamed his universe, undisturbed. Monty Pylon, anyone seen our missing pylon? Jimbo said. Here I am, Jims. Monty swayed obnoxiously. Hoyt. Then this crazy bastard dressed like a sheep, Monty said, declaring war. No way, no wonder he got the belt. What a weirdo, Hoyt went. Do you two need to be separated? Jimbo said without thanks. We're already on different teams, Jims. Christ, Monty moaned. I'm present, Hoyt said, nudging Monty on the shoulder. Good, good. They're not difficult at all, Jolene. Fine, fine, I'll take the neighborhood kids out for basketball. It'll be fun, she says. Jimbo went. I'm sorry about them. They're secret lovers, James said, the gossip. James, please do not speak when you're not spoken to. And for goodness sake, toss things like that down the river. Forever. Got it? Antonio, Jimbo said, deceased. Present, Jimbo, Antonio sent, almost like a roar. Whoa, fantastic. Lo, here, the Lloyd said. Always beating me to it, little bass, Jims sent, laughing. I'm getting bored. Let's play already, the Lloyd said, bouncing the ball where he sat. Jimbo got him to stop with one terrifying look. Ronald, here, Ronald whispers like a crashing jet. What? I can't hear you, bud. Are you here or are you here? Jim sent. Here. This man, I can't. Ronald wheezed to his nearest supporters. Just let it go, man. Think of a circle and a glowing point in the center, sucking everything inside it. Poof. Gone, John said, assuring Ronald, rubbing off the humiliated look. Mr. January, Jimbo sent. Here, Jan said resentfully. Hear that, Ronald? Learn to be heard the first time. Mumbling will get you sent to the madhouse, Jimbo sang. Jan whispered to Ronald's ear. How did you get out? He would say. I killed the guards, Jimbo said, laughing madly. Silence endures for a moment, as Jimbo gets his cake and eats it too. Now everyone, tell me who's not here, right now. Do you even care? Who are you talking about, and which question should we prioritize as a unit? January said, leaning against Ronald like a pillar. He'd begin strolling around the other kids, patting them each on the head. Jimbo tosses a clipboard to Jan, catching it with one small hand. Here, you do attendance from now on, Jim said. Jan, he taps his belly adorably. He continues, Monty, Hoyt, James, Antonio, Lloyd, Ronald. I swear there was 8 of you in my car, Jim said in retrospect. The kids began to snicker sinisterly and laugh as a unit. We're all here, Jimbo. What's the matter, adult man? Did Fritz steal your sleep or did Miss Jolene? Jan said, winning the war. Jimbo waved his white hand in joyous defeat. The kids stood up and went to their respective courts, one with an extra team member. Okay, we'll begin the first game. 3 versus 4. I swear I began the day with 8 kids. Back me up, James. Down the river, James said. Did you count your balding head, sir? Lloyd said with a ponderous burning. Oh, Lloyd, I think you're right, Jimbo said, patting his head and belly like an idiot. 8, they all shouted as a unit. The game began as Jimbo tossed the ball in midair. I'll be back. Play fair. Jimbo heads towards the track, running and checking in between trees as if flossing a giant's teeth. A kid is peeking behind a massive oak. They made eye contact. I'm going to give you to the count of 9. Jimbo ignites with sighs. 9. The kid ran full speed up the hill. Mother! Jimbo ran after the kid, through incredibly dense forest. The dancing rays of sun were tripping up his vision, and the unleveled ground was tangling his legs with huge sticks. He stops running to catch his breath and remove a stabbing stick from his side. Orchid, the small kid, stops and watches Jimbo give up, panting his ABCs. Orchid sits on a fallen trunk. The few kilometers of wood pasture seem to be cut down, none but wide trunks remain holding to its permanence. Jimbo makes for one nearest the boy. The leaves blew intensely as if in warning. I don't want to play. I'm running back home, and your car smells like a slaughterhouse, Orchid would say with real conviction. I don't blame you. Those kids are difficult. Actually, I came here to ask if I can join you, Jimbo said, seeing the kid's twilight eyes shimmering kindly. Orchid nods, pulls out a cigarette and a lighter from his chest pocket. The image didn't register with Jimbo until Orchid's third or fourth drag. He'd take it from the kid's lips, making the little beast panic, trying to get it back. It's mine. My brother gave it to me. Your brother gave you this? Why, a 10-year-old? This? So what? Jan does it. His father has those fat brown ones. He'd bring it to school. Then at recess, he passes it around to the other boys. He never lets me have a drag. That privileged moron. Did you take this from your brother just to see what it's like? Yeah. So, I needed to know. Now I know. Besides, he always got them in his coat. He wouldn't notice one missing. Oh, yes, he will. Did you know I used to smoke 2 packs a week? I always know how much I have left. I've been smoking since I was 12. Yeah. Anyways, when I was courting Jolene, like flirting, she gave me an ultimatum. What's an ultimatum? Does it hurt? No, little man, it's a holy promise, comprised of a set of terms a person must stay truest to, for the sake of earning someone's absolute trust. Understand? It sounds painful. Yeah, I guess it can be. So, what was the holy promise you made to Miss Jolene? I promised to quit smoking. You're holding one now, aren't you even a little bit tempted? Not while you're watching. Orchid closed his petals. Stop it, I won't. See? Jimbo drops the cigarette and steps on it. Now please come back. Play one game. I promised your mother you'd get active. But we were just uphill running. Smart kid. I mean, they're all smart, but not your type of smart. Absolute silence obeyed their tree-like behavior. Suddenly Jimbo's phone started ringing. He answers it. The kid pulls out another cigarette and lights it. Jimbo's eyes parted from his with disappointment. Then tsunamis of sorrow arose. It took the color out of Orchid. The kid killed the smoke on a nearby tree. Jimbo shuts his phone, looked at his untied shoes, and watched Orchid kneel down to tie it for him. Let's go, Jimbo. Orchid held Jimbo's hand as they walked carefully downhill. Where are we going? This is not the way back. You're getting too smart, kid. I know what will cheer you up. Do I look like I need cheering up? I'm fine. Now let's make a turn here. Orchid grips Jimbo's hand like a bear trap. I know that look. My mother, my father, heck, even my dog had that look. Okay, kid, make it quick. Orchid leads them down a wooden staircase. A greenhouse emerged in their peripheral. Orchid opens the glass door and lets Jimbo enter first. The grown man was holding himself together for the orchid at his care. Jimbo follows the kid's small shadow approaching a party of cactuses. My brother always takes me here when I'm sad about something. He says cactuses are the best listeners. Your brother sounds like a nut. He is, but he's never boring. He taught me that people don't know how to listen and observe properly unless you're at their majesty and you're nothing but a court jester. What do you mean by that? For example, whenever the other kids look at me funny, I like to think of myself as being this actor on stage and I'm about to blow their minds. They let those words thaw and evaporate. How is your brother? Jolene told me he's not doing too hot. He's leaving his body. Leaving how? He's dying. You can say that about someone who actually is. Hell, I know that. He told me this insane idea about how people who die reincarnate into plants or animals. That was like taking off a tight suit. He'd be in one soon. Yeah, I know, he knows too. Alright, okay, let's go back. Orchid went over to a Peruvian apple cactus, pricking his finger. It bleeds. Jimbo pulls the kid's hand away. I cried the first time. I cried the second time. But I don't feel much anymore. Orchid sucks on his bleeding finger. Jimbo's awestruck by the beauty of the cacti. My brother always returns to this one. What's your brother's name? Santi? Well, where's he now? He's in bed. A nurse is keeping an eye on him. Mom stopped working for a bit. Dad works all the time. He's in denial that his son is rotting in that bed. Jimbo watched the kid on the wooden bench, holding his face. He went over to embrace the crying child. A flower buds from the thorny spines of the Peruvian. Jimbo stretches an arm to pull the flower off. He bestows it to Orchid after separating from him. For your brother. You idiot, now he won't bloom. You killer. Orchid ran out the greenhouse in tears, utterly shaken. Jimbo walks himself out, shuffling the bud in his open hand. He sighs and begins to cry about something else entirely. Someone who is also plucked too soon, like that flower he's just killed. I'm missing you. On the baseball field, Jimbo spots Orchid sitting on home base. He quit weeping. Instead, his nose began to clog and irritate. He wipes it with his shirt collar while watching the other kids playing on the basketball court far across. Jimbo sits on the sand next to the sick puppy. Go away. I'm sorry I broke something off your brother. You're making fun of me. Maybe if we set it on water he will still blossom. What if he doesn't? The last time I saw it bloom was with my brother. I was 6. It took you 2 seconds to kill it. Okay, I'm a killer. Happy. Go easy on me. I'm doing my best here. I just had Fritz. Now I'm supervising 8 of you. Jimbo said, laughing in the midst of remembering something. What is it? Nothing, it's just something Yasmin, Jolene's mother, told me one night, She told me I should be careful with children who ask too many questions. I asked her why, and she told me it could be God feeding them through an earpiece. I don't believe in God, so you don't have to worry about what you say to me. Besides, my parents are humanists. My father always says whenever I cry about a trivial thing that a human life is achieved in a few breaths and could be taken away with less. He could barely visit my brother without gagging. It's almost funny. Jimbo puts an arm around the kid. His eyes were in tears, but he was shining with happiness. He gave the kid more space to fill by keeping his reply on hold. Mom would laugh in the middle of the night. It would scare the hell out of me. Lately, I've been sleeping as far away from them at the basement couch. It's been like that for days now. Jimbo held the bud before Orchid and sets it inside the boy's chest pocket. Orchid didn't protest the gift and smiles at Jimbo, standing up from home base, dusting the sand off his body. Thank you, Jims. My pleasure, Orc. The kids in the court stopped playing their game and formed a staring contest against Jimbo and Orchid, walking towards them from the baseball field. They were waving crows on the telephone wire, yelling greetings and profanities. I'll drop you off first. No, I like being last. Okay then, if you say so. Leave the windows open. Shit, man, anything else? Nothing else. Then let's take you cows home. The 2 goons shared a smile and stepped into the court. The kids were having these mumbled conversations, and a few started new private games. The ball would bounce from the rim of the hoop onto Orchid's direction. Shoot it, Orc, Jimbo shouted, making the other kids cheer. Orchid took the shot and made it in. The flower in his chest made an escape for it, tearing apart on the hard cement, trampled on by little feet. As they surrounded Orchid to congratulate him on a gorgeous shot. Everyone, get your stuff. We're going home. The kids would moan in defiance and chatter amongst themselves, grabbing their bags and water canisters. Orchid held the ball, as if embracing a new friend. One could even say he was happy to be there. Inside the van, Jimbo made eye contact with each kid before he turned the key and started the engine. The kids made faces as their names were called. A few turned away and ignored him, proceeding with their vibrant conversations. Music, music, music. Jan would begin, hyping up the others. I want to sleep, keep it off, the Lloyd said. Killjoy, 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 Jan said into Lloyd's ears, backed by the others. Antonio began shifting in his seat, making his neighbors shove him away. Are we there yet? Make it fast, Jimbo. Light fucking speed. It's my turn. I never get to choose, Monty said. Jimbo takes a CD album from a seat pocket, driving with one expert hand. Orchid is quiet in the front seat, looking straight ahead. A CD falls off the album and lands on his foot. He'll pick it up. There's writing made with permanent marker on it. For Lena. Love, Harold. Who's Harold? Ronald went. Who's Lena? Monty went, salivating at the CD album Jim put away. Are you having an affair, Jim? My father had a few of those. I don't see him anymore. Oh, you poor sad boy, Jan went. Shut up, Jan, your mother's a whore. Hoyt sang. What did you say, you insect? Well, your father's a faggot. Not so hot now, Hoyt. Jimbo presses the horn once. Orchid was laughing like madness. Cut it out now or walk home. What will it be? Jimbo treads. He parks to the side as Jan and Hoyt looked about ready to kill each other. Shake on it. Make peace, Jimbo said, looking back at the troubled rascals. I'm sorry I called your mother a whore. Good, Jan, now it's your turn. I'm sorry your father likes it in the ass. Jimbo hits the roof of the van, giving the two a long, hard look. Sorry, they both said. With feeling, Jimbo went. We sincerely apologize, Jimbo, now drive, Jan said. Jimbo gave them a wide smirk. Better. The car went on drive and blessed the road once more. James kicks Orchid's seat. Play the CD, Orc. Orchid fakes terrible coughs. Jimbo laughs and opens all the windows. The kids are awed by the moving glass. Orchid places the CD in the player. David Bowie's 5 Years began to play. James' stop came. Jimbo parks in front of his house. The car door opens and the little man gets off. Orchid looks back to meet James's eyes. See you in 5 years. The car drove away. The children went wild. Jimbo gave a playful jab at Orchid's shoulder. He'd rubbed the spot where he was hit with warm pride on his face. Ronald, Monty, Lloyd, and James are dropped off one by one. Different houses, different yards. Some with expectant parents at the door, and some left waiting by the threshold, knocking and kicking. Jan and Antonio are left. Orchid is in the shotgun seat, waiting to fire the other 2 bullets. Jan, this is you, Orchid would say, beating Jim to it. Suddenly, Antonio gets off the car too, standing beside Jan on the walkway. I need to use your bathroom. I can't hold it, Ant announced, holding his stomach, bending over in pain, looking up at Jan, pleading. No, I don't want the house to smell like you. Not in a million, billion, gazillion years, Ant. Jan said, being mean. Your house is a few streets away. Run for it, Jan suggested, being almost kind about it. I can't. Have mercy, please, Jan, please. Fuck, no. Jan headed for his door. Fine, I'll go in your yard, you fucking bastard. Anton threatens to pull his pants down as he steps into Jan's front yard, giving a garden gnome the weird eye. Hey, what the heck is going on? Jimbo said, almost like reading from a script. You act like this is new, Orchid said. Jan, go home. Tony, come on, let's go. No, I made up my mind, Tony protested. Jan ran towards Antonio and pushed him on his side. Antonio cries as Jan punched him once on the stomach, then ran for his house. Jan's mother appears by the door, chinking her eyes, adjusting to daylight. She's wearing a thin black robe. How's basketball? Did any of your shots go in? Jan's mother would say, embracing her son like the tip of a shovel to a sewer rat. She'll find the van with her drowsy eyes and waves. Thank you, Jim. Whore, Antonio went. What's that kid say, Jensen? Antonio gets up, dries his eyes, and ran towards the door, pushing Jan down the welcome mat, passing through the front entrance. Jan's mom turns her heavy head to the side, choosing between getting angry or laughingly greeting Jan's basketball buddy in with welcome. I'll be quick, thank you, Jan's mom. He pushed me, you saw it. I think he's just being playful with you. Is he staying for dinner, sweetheart? No, he's not. Absolutely not. Jan is hesitant to enter his house. He pokes his head in after he inhales fresh air from outside. He preps his throat to shout. You better be in the basement, Aunt. There was a flush on the upstairs toilet, inside Jan's room. Jan's mom went around the van and greets Jimbo with a flirtatious smile. Hey, I'm sorry about that. Take it up with Antonio's parents. My kid is at home giving Jolene trouble. It's nice seeing you, Miss Mahoney. Hi, Orchid said smilingly. Hi. Anyways, you and Lena must come over sometime. You know, as a show of thanks for taking care of Jensen. Sure, I'll tell her. We'll definitely think about it. What's on the menu? Well, how about anything you want? I have a chef at home, and Jan's a great cook too. He gets lessons now and then from the guy. Taught him how to perfect a medium rare steak the other night. I wouldn't eat Jan's cooking if I had a gun to my head, Orc said to himself. You got a mumbler there, Jim. Next up, the madhouse. The two flaming adults sweat from all the shared heat. Car windows began to roll up as Antonio rushed inside the van, putting his seatbelt on. The door closes and a laugh is trapped inside the van. Orchid turns up the volume of the song playing. How's the man of the hour? Light as a feather, Jimbo, Anne said. Just called to remind us. Bye, Jimbo said to the sleepless woman. Okay, drive safe, she'd say. Lonely steamed up the glass. Later, Jan's mom, Orc shouted. Jan ran through his house door with fury. Drive, Jimbo, Anne said. Jimbo drove and made a turn, savoring the blocks that remain. What did Jan's room look like? Jimbo asked. It reminded me of my uncle's room in rehab, Anne said. Jimbo let himself become hysterical before the two prestigious kids. They all submit to the music and listens silently in worship, melting in their respective seats at the lyrical tragedy in the song. Jimbo opens his heart to sing. Your face, your age, the way that you talked. I kissed you, you're beautiful. I want you to walk. We got 5 years. Antonio waves goodbye at Orc and Jimbo. Ant met his shepherd dog by the threshold of the door, barking loudly at the parked car. The car drives off. Orchid sighs as Jimbo makes the turn for his place. He watches Jimbo patiently take the disc off the player and hands it to him. Take it. I can't. Orchid felt his chest pocket. It is hollow. I lost it. You had it, and you always will. Here, take this and listen with your brother. And yes, they're all Bowie. Why? I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. Did Bowie say that? We should all make that promise at least once. Later, Jimbo. Bye, Orchid. He just sat there on the porch swing holding the CD. Jimbo drove away as increments of sorrow penetrated through the glass for the kid. We got 5 years. That's all we got. We got 5 years. My brain hurts a lot. 2 years ago, Harold wakes up in a puff of smoke. A ceiling fan has battled for and dried their nightmarish sweats during the hot evening. There it is, continuing to fight with razor-edged spins. Tully sets a cigarette on his bleeding lips. He opens his mouth to the small flame she produced, and his approaching lines made her misty-eyed as he blew her away to her side of the single bed. You okay? It's just sodium chloride, says she. What are you going on about? Do you expect me to say plutonium or something? It's too early to feel stupid, says he. No, I mean tears are nothing but sodium chloride. Also mucin, lipids. This one is hard to say. Isosim, lactoferrin, lipocalin, lacretin. Then there's... Harold sets his cigarette, hovering in between her eyes. She went cross-eyed looking at it burn and die. Harold gently drew a black cross with the butt. It tickled her. You're too goddamn smart. You must learn to tone it down when talking to complete idiots like me. Where did being so damn smart get you anyway? So far, in bed next to you. I agree, not very smart. Tully gave Harold an abstract smile, making the cross dance with her long eyebrows. Yet here I am. Harold kissed her on the dancing cross and licked her forehead clean. Why did you erase the cave drawing? Am I worth remembering after 1,000 years? Don't answer me with a question. A knock came to the door. Jimbo opens it a smidge. The two in bed sits up. back depressed on the headboard. Come in. We're strictly friends, Tully said. We choose our suffering, Harold went. Pass me the ashtray. Tully hands him the ashtray. He donates his drawing tool and nods for Tully to hide the ashtray in the drawer. Jimbo hates smoking in the apartment. Jimbo enters with breakfast. Holding a tray of hidden omelets, Jolene stood behind him with a great smile, holding a cup of freshly squeezed orange juice and a hot cup of black coffee. What's the big idea? Thank you, Jimbo and Jolene, for making this feel all honeymoony. Shucks, I'm blushing. Harry went. Shh, breakfast first, then you'll sign the divorce papers. I can't stay married to a man who says words like honeymoon and shucks in close proximity to each other. Tully went. Whatever makes you the happiest, dearie, Harold said, making kissy sounds to Tully, then pulling away his disgusted face. Jimbo and Jolene were cussing themselves in awe of their report. Morning, Harry, Jolene said, coming over to kiss the grown man on his bed hair. Jolene looks over at the girl with wheat-colored locks and enigmatic blue eyes watching. She wore a nightshort with no bra, allowing herself to be seen like that. Jolene thought she was hot and daring. The two women played with a serene gaze, like two hushed fires, rationing sparks. I'm Talulah, pretty one, but people call me Tully, she says, extending a hand to warm Jolene, kissing it point blank, making Jimbo and Harold melt on each other's ripening imagination. Ah, like the actress, Talulah Bankhead. She was in this Hitchcock movie with the lifeboat, Jimbo said proudly. That's right, Tully said, commending him and making Jimbo retreat behind his woman. Quiet, dear, our omelets are getting cold, approached Jimbo, Harold would say, keeping their play acting alive. Tully takes a graceful sip of her coffee. Harold downs the glass of orange juice in less than 10 seconds. It took me 10 fat minutes to squeeze a dozen oranges. It took dry earth here 10 seconds to gobble it down. I hope he's not that quick with other activities, Jolene fired, crushing on Tully. You got there a keeper. Now keep her away from me. Otherwise, Tully said to Jimbo, peering out from behind his woman, to stand in front of her, from Tully the desirable orb from which their eyes cannot protest. I'm Jambalaya, but people call me Jimbo. Jambalaya, I was just dreaming of some. It was spicy. It burned my tongue. I bet you make that for her every night if she wants. I like her for you, Harry. Don't fuck this up, Jolene said, as if reading from the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not fuck this up, Harry said, nodding lovingly, making kissy faces to Tully, who shoved a warm, coffee-soaked palm to his face. Enough gab, amaze us, Harold said, making Tully's nipple hard behind her nightshirt, making Jolene tremble where she stood and ended up sitting on the foot of their bed, sweetly gazing at Harold's morning glory. Jimbo places a bed table over their spread legs, still hidden inside the covers. As for the plate platters, they were lifted off, revealing the honeymooners' hotel breakfast. For Talulah, eggs with mushroom, baby tomatoes, kale, and fresh chopped bacon. And for Harry, egg whites, lots of bacon. Even after knowing about his fear of yolks, you still love the weirdo? Jolene said. Tully nods as heavenly spoonfuls sent arousals of 1,000 angels down her throat. Harold sent his egg whites through his conquering abyss, biting mechanically. We'll leave you to it then. Don't expect dessert, just use your imagination. Jolene and Jimbo made for the door. Thank you, Tully shouted, as she pats Harold's back, depraving the aromatic air of gratitude. Thank you, Harold said with his mouth full. There's something else. Yeah, but they've been for 2 full years now. I'm expecting to be a godfather soon. Right, like anyone would let you take care of the children when they're ghosts. Do you always say the first thing that pops into your head? Don't you? In the kitchen, Jimbo sat on his marked chair at the table. He is reading Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil. The front cover is held by tape. He'll uncap a highlighter with his mouth and spits it on the table top. It bounces for a bit and rolls to the floor. He highlights the passage with a sinister smile and a shake of his head. Jolene is juicing celery in the blender, turns it off, pouring a tall glass for her beloved. She takes a plate of passion fruit cut into wedges. then went to the open window with her chewed gum for the brick wall, to add another demented moon to the undefined horizon. She sets the fruit and glass before Jimbo, who began setting his book down a millisecond to acknowledge it, before returning to his literary expenditure. Jolene sits on the seat across from him, cross-legged on the wooden chair, trying to uncork a new bottle of red, while Jimbo empties his glass of celery juice in a snap and bit into a passion fruit passionlessly. She pours her champagne glass halfway. I sometimes feel like you love this crap more than you love me. What made you think that way? Jimbo said, but still didn't set his book down. Instinct. Jimbo sets the book down. When the house is on fire, one forgets even lunch. Yes, but eats it later in the ashes. Jolene drank her glass empty. It's almost perfect. All that's missing is us on matching straitjackets. Don't you think it's too early for wine, Lena? It's cranberry. There's a knock on the door. You get it. Jimbo returns to his book. Jolene refills her glass halfway again with an extra pinch. I'll be back, she said, talking to the wind, the wine, and the wandering man lost in yellow pages. Jolene opens the door. Bert and Sarah are holding brown paper bags over their faces filled to the brim. They lay it low to catch Jolene's strangled expression. Their crow's feet announced that they were happy to see her. Words were exchanged behind hidden lips. Lena, you celestial cunt, how are you? Bert asked, kissing her on the cheek, navigating around the bag he barely got a grip of. Lena, Sar said, walking himself in. Sorry about Sar, he woke up on the floor. Demons kick him again? Try gargoyles. Who is it? Jimbo shouted in the kitchen, biting into a passion fruit. The children darling back from the war. Jolene shut the door behind Bert as he enters in, reading the vibe of the room like he does. Sar was halfway through emptying the contents of the bag onto the table, before their majesty, Jimbo, setting the book down to do inventory. Thus, unfolding a bookmark which kept a written list. You miss one. I take a finger, Jimbo correct. Keep the one already shoved up yours, Bert counters. We're ready, Sar said, shaking up the nasty image. Durian? Check. Romanesco? Check. Juniper berries, hibiscus, rosemary, nutmeg, vanilla sticks, Spanish paprika, thyme and cumin. Can we go now? Bert said. Are you some witch doctor or shaman, Jimbo? Sar asked, actually wanting a serious answer, hitting the occasional scavenger hunt with violent passion. No, sweet doe, I'm neither. Now, where are my bluebells? Oh shoot, I left them by the door. Jolene, can you? I'll be back, she said, talking to the wind, the wine, and the three lost boys looking miserable. You're a doll. Jolene goes to the door, picks up the pot of bluebells by the doorway. She sets it gently on the table. Jimbo inches forward, admiring them. Thank you, Jimbo said to the bluebells. Jolene empties the next paper bag herself. 6-inch nails, matches, ladle, microplane, balloon whisk. That's everything I ever wanted, Jimbo said, holding the balloon whisk to his face. They're not useless after all, Jolene said jokingly, knowing Jimbo will get a kick out of it. Bert and Sar did not feel kindly to her comment and looked down at their feet. I'm joking. Bloody Christ, I love you both for putting up with him. You're just glad he didn't send you this time. Ah, yeah, Jolene said, twirling on the spot, arms around the two errand boys. Oh no, Jimbo, what is it? My batteries. Oh, here they are. Sar takes them out of a pocket. Jimbo gets up from his chair and walks over to Sar, ruffling his hair, taking the fresh pack of batteries. He produced a stool from out of the blue and grabs hold of a broken clock on the southern wall. He flicks the dusty batteries off, setting it inside his chest pocket, and puts new batteries in. Then he eerily looks down at his spectators, at their massively concerned faces. Anyone know what the time is? 9:02. What? 9:02, you bozo. You're a doll, Birdie. Jimbo sets the now working clock on the wall. They were not as exalted as he was to hear the ticking and talking inside their once graveyard silent apartment. The deed is done, Jimbo announced to his fellow man and lover. He sat back on his throne, nose to his book and passion fruit in his biters. They all watched their dictator inhale and exhale linearly, while theirs were scattered as fuck. What's all this for anyways? At least let us in on your grand plan. It took us an hour to figure out what a hibiscus is. Bertie thought it was medicine. By the way, I got some sleeping pills for myself with the money left. It's the least you could do for me in terms of compensation. What are we celebrating, Jimbo? I could hear Bertie already, head inside the toilet trying to. Jolene got a kick from that, savoring her glass, listening to the jester skirting away. He's far gone, Bertie. Thanks for the pills, Jimbo. Sar made for his room. Need help putting away this stuff? Bert would ask Jolene, knowing Jimbo. Dennis got it. Do what you think you must do. Thanks for the hibiscus, Halliburton. Don't mention it, Jimbo. Really, don't. Bert walks out the kitchen, blocking his ears from more lectures about wasted time. You'll get used to it, Jimbo would say, looking up to entertain in Bert's exit. No, I won't, Bert yelled from inside his room as he closed the door happily shut. Jimbo finds Lena, finishing her second glass. Lena, could you? I'm taking a nap. Can I do it later? Hesitating, Jimbo gathered his mouth to speak the words that weren't uniform in shape. Okay, rest well, princess. Jolene graced them with a tired smile as she fled for their room, closing the door only halfway. Jimbo was left all alone in the sun-dressed kitchen with the unpacked items and 4 hollowed paper bags rolled into earthly-looking planets. Jimbo stood up, took the bottle Jolene drank from, and downed what's left of the red. For sure it wasn't cranberry. Suddenly, a sneaky hourglass rolls out from one of the ripped ball of brown paper. He held it to a ray of light. Jimbo decided to throw it to the gum wall, only to hit the closed window. Small pieces of glass and red liquid paints the counters and the floor tiles. He glimpsed the mess he created and dashed away in denial of it. He opens the terrace door and enters out, sitting on a milk crate with his book. Continues reading where he left off. Swallow your poison, for you need it badly. Jimbo highlights a new passage. 5 days ago, Harold enters the Blue Nile in a depressing evening as people showcase their garbage out in the open. Piling boxes and recycling danced in the wild heat. He blocks his nose from the smell, holding white wine inside a gift bag. He opens the door to let a barkeep in. They exchange quiet thanks. He lets himself in, as well as the fragrant scent of a lake nearby, making him prey to a cold chill. The whistling from late flying vertebrates came in sharply. Harold lets himself back outside. He simply couldn't face Jolene and Jimbo, and so he makes for the side of the building, behind a blue phone booth. He was planning to use it, but it was disconnected from the wire. A woman with dirty gold for hair and a large turquoise sweater worn down to her knees is holding a spray can, shaking it before writing on the dim wall. Harold drops the dead receiver, walks over to the woman, as if possessed by her form, all busy. He covers half his face as the smell of spray paint traveled. She felt his shadow entomb her. How do you like it? She refused to reveal herself, hiding in the black shadows. Harold steps closer, scans up, then down at each brick letter. They bled with a wet violet substance. Lostslut. Tonight isn't like any other night, the female shadow said. Yeah, why is that? He saw her eyes lit up out of the shadows, transfixed on the moon behind him, emerging from sable clouds. It's the 28th of February, and in about 10 minutes it won't be. We'll enter a phantom day. My friend's anniversary is on the 29th. That explains the bottle. But who brings wine to a bar? Give it to me. Harold gives her the bag. Why lost slut? If you don't get what you want, you suffer. If you get what you want, you suffer. Are you saying Socrates is a lost slut? Yes, and so are you. Is that so? But why on here? He owns this patch of hell. We broke up. Emil is your boyfriend? You're sort of a mitten there, are you, Tully? No way. Tally laughs as her name is making figure eights in the howling wind. She sits below the T. A few strands of her hair would soak in violet. What is drowned can only float. What can't swim could only hope. Someone, hand this bitch a pint of Lager in a silvery rope. Wow, it was my friend Bert who put that on the piano. I was wondering if you had more verses. Oh, stop, you're making fun. I told M not to share my poetry with anybody. M told everyone at the bar how'd you dance firm slow, strip till your chestnut tits are golden dark, and your lemon ochre Riviera has fallen over the smooth peaks of his shoulders. He's a real poet, M. I'm happy he found himself. I just don't understand. Why would he talk about our private life to his bar sluts? If I may ask, why did he break up with you? He caught me with the bar manager in his office. Jules was only doing me a favor. What kind of favor? You're nosy. I don't even know you and you had me wasting good spit. Don't you have somewhere to be? Thanks for the why. Enjoy the phantom night. Harold took a hold of her sweater sleeve. Tully faces him, biting her lip hard. I'm Harold. I'd rather be here. They're not in the best place. I'll just be an anchor. Then be an anchor, Harold. You got my highest attention, Tully. Are you sure? I want to spend this phantom day with you. A joyful silence passes away. Is this red or white? Does it matter? Tully shakes her head, happily tossing the gift bag and uncapping the wine. They began suffering through their wonderful stroll. Are you a poet too? This whole idea we're setting forth is romantic. I don't care, if you're trying to make me one of those Jezebels in mushroom-cut dresses. Not really. I like the idea of it, though. My mind wanders a lot and I find some words really fun to say over and over. You're just afraid to get started and find out you're good. Or god-awful. Maybe. I've discovered that I'm god-awful. It doesn't stop me from creating, though. Why continue if you're horse shit and your only readers are fruit flies? With poetry, you can start in the middle of nowhere, and yet reveal many channels from which to go on. It leads you to destinations you appreciate to be lost in. I find myself sometimes in an orgy of irreversible climax doing this, being a witness to euphoric endings burdened by elephantine emotions, set free into a landscape of divinely chosen words, whoring itself into my arms. Tully took a toke of the bottle, then passes it to Harold, just to hold for a second. Take it from him unkissed, then drink from it again. She sighs as he's caught looking at her exposed legs, as the chill worsens. A sigh is the soul farting through the mouth. That's stupid. Bert came up with that. What does he do? He makes sketches. They're actually decent. Does he do nudes? All he does is nudes. They made base by a fat tree in Woodstock Park. The bottle's hollowed. Tully drank more white than Harold. He felt about ready to collapse, as Bliss became this creature, barking orchestral music in his quantum cells. Tully gazes romantically at the moon reflected on Harold's smitten eyes. What are you looking at? The night. I'm trying to summon stars. Why do you talk like that? Can we talk normal for a second? You started it, flaying the air with your contrived words. Tully adjusts the bottle on her hand like a baseball bat. Ask, and I'll summon the stars. No, you psycho cunt. I was going to say queen. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. Tully closed her eyes, chin up to the night. Harold watched her stillness of breath for a good 3 minutes. The scent of her was omniscient. What are you thinking? Shh, I'm almost done. Done what? You're right to be frightened to start. You can't even court silence properly. I am. Tully swings the bottle on his knee. Harold reacts with impulsive fits of laughter. Quit apologizing, Jesus. If you want something extraordinary to come from you, do not compromise the fact that all that ever is came from the cosmic dust that only so few can masterfully decipher. That's a lot of that. Is that all of what you took from that? Master deciphering the cosmic dust. What do you mean by that? Shut up for a full minute. Harold held the spray bottle and pressed the trigger. He wrote an X on the dead grass. Tully peeks from her closed eyes and her lips formed a silver crescent. Are you done, Basquiat? Yes. You done deciphering shit? Could you be more eloquent? Harold shook his head no. Tully took the spray bottle and imprisons Harold's ex inside 9 violet circles. Severed stars, why is heaven always sad? Love shames our bedroom walls with showbiz applause. Is harmony a ghost with divine features manifest? I need an angelic companion, or else my phantom nights will be lonely and long. Why am I a little girl again inside his arms? Am I there to anchor him? Must I need to know right now? Harold wept rapidly inside his shirt, hiding it comically well. He blocks his eyes violently to stop the flow. Tully watched calmly, giving of her arms to console Harold. It got in my eyes. He wipes it dry as it pours onto his smiling lips. I thought it was my foam that got you. Oh, that grocery list of questions? No, it was definitely the chemicals. Tully swings the glass bat for Harold's knees, but he caught it. And now that it was in his hold, he spots a metal trash bin and made an ambitious throw. It went in. Tully got up. Harold thought she was going to leave him. She walked for the metal bin to dispose of the spray bottle. She returns to where Harold laid against the fat tree. His drunken gaze is focused on her extraordinary frame. Your mind's beautiful. I can't remember a single line you said, though. Tully looks down at Harold, giving him a hand. Get on your feet. Harold, barely balanced, fell onto her chest. Let go of me or I'll kick you hard against the tree. Mirror what I'm doing. Tully witnessed the man get off his 2 feet, looking less like a crooked tree. Imagine Jesus on the cross, having to lift his arms like this for 6 hours. Factor in the 6-inch nails and the crown of thorns and the Roman soldiers poking him with their spears. Harold lifts his arms as if he were nailed to a cross. Tully stood in front of his body, bearing her own unseen cross. Their eyes are locked with intimacy for the revealing pain. They begin laughing after a period of time. The ridiculous exhibition caught the eyes of a dog walker passing by. This hurts, right? How long are we doing this for? Until I hear you come up with something I like. You mean poetry? Aren't you inspired? I don't know. Shoot murdery gaze to the muse. Pick a channel, Harold. Do you find this amusing? Tully laughs, confirming so. Harold is slapped awake by one of her quick hands, like a low-hanging branch hitting him on his bike pad. Okay, wait. Where could I go? Harold closes his eyes just long enough to earn her trust again, as her eyes too were shut. Harold peeks at Tully's moonstruck skin one last time before he shuts them complacently. Tully opens her eyes, rapidly looks away, flinching from the sudden eye contact. Your eyes like to rest upon beauty. Harold closes his eyes, smiling, losing strength on both his arms. She's so sure of herself. Is that a reply to what I said, or are those the first lines you've come up with? First lines. Fuck, my arm is killing me. I hate it. I hate you. Keep your eyes open and look around. But that's what you did. Your chin was up to the black skies. Everyone has their own way of channeling these things. Learn yours. Okay, wait. Ow. Little boy, the pain will pass. It's just 2 broken arms. The one she uses to embrace the corpse this time left behind. Stop picking from my channel, Tully. Tully was dearly amused by Harold's solemn face, closing his eyes aggressively shut. It's coming to me, be still. That goes especially for your wise 2 lips. That's good, now go on, elaborate. The Garden of Eden is on fire. Helen of Troy tempts Adam into trampling Eve's violets. Her eyes flow wild with ecstasy as their 3 moons collide in the space of a breath. Harold opens his eyes to return Tully's embrace. The melting weight on their aching arms caused their knees to give. Tully pushed Harold to the ground. Their hearts knocked against each other's rib cages, communicating. Tully rested on him for many heartbeats. Medusa's wine. Rivers through half-moon smiles of the loveless. Her mortal tree turned into glass, inhaling shades of songs between blades of grass. Gospel verses bathed in the lungs of chain smokers, the tiny monsters and their young. Stop there before you ruin it. How did you do that? Those words, they just came. Don't jerk your ego in front of a lady that was all spirit, Harriet. I think I laid on dog shit. Harold turns around as a dreadful smell made figure eights of the midnight air. A smudge of yellow ochre, slightly fresh, clung to Harold's shirt. You're right, it is dog shit. Harold unbuttons his polo shirt, folds it, then threw it into the trash. He's acclimated to the evening chill by then. Tully scanned his body carefully. What now? Are you cold? No, unless you're offering me your sweater. I have nothing under here. Tully gave Harold a moment to digest her words. Sketch a few pictures or 24. Let's go for a swim. A swim? Yes. Tully steps closer to him. An amusing thought struck her. She drops her head on his chest, laughing like a hyena. Fucking theater shit, I swear. What if you're only a poet when there's dog shit on you? That's not a very nice thing to say about yourself. Tully pounced his chest once, then twice in playful jest, then sped away at the expanse of the field. Tully was gone. Where are you going? Harold chases after her. Who the fuck knows? Tully and Harold walk side by side, fusing into one another's playful flow. Harold catches Tully's arm before she dips into the road, as dawn licked the dark streets with her crimson tongue. They enter a stone tunnel encased by tall pines. Down here. Tully spots a downward staircase, leading to God only knows where, and Harold is pulled into the bullet fire steps they took as one. Two paths revealed themselves, one stone, one mud. Tully found an alternative route. Harold stays faithful to her. The deeper, through the beaten path she chose. Before them is a small woodland cafe. A porch light is open, revealing aged table woods and artificial chairs made from tree trunks. Glowing snake lights dressed the vines all about the branches. Tall candles were fixed on each table, and a single sunflower counted its days on a skinny vase. A barmaid finds their eyes adjusting to her pat of Eden. She is rocking pink hair in her late 30s like a killer bee's, while savoring 2 fingers of whiskey on ice. She'll wave her guests over to a nearby table as she ties her apron around her waist, situate her eyeglasses, and offer a twinkling smile to herself on a hanging oval mirror. Finally, upon realizing the drink still on her hand, she pours her whiskey on a big pot of budding roses. Recognizing Harold and his nudist state, she opens a drawer, producing a medium shred of her establishment, shots of mischief. Tully watches Harold embrace and welcome this pink-haired woman, handing him a shirt. Harold wore it and thanked the woman kindly with a happiness sobering his other tired features. She was curious to meet Harold's lady friend and come right over. Do you always water your roses with hard liquor? Don't mind her, Lola, she's on something. Whatever it is, I want some. You're both so goddamn cute. Harry, look at her, she's ageless. Ah, me pork. Does Harry bring all his girls here? Actually, you're the first one. He only ever goes here alone. He crashes here sometimes to help me water my roses with hard liquor. Sorry I couldn't water them tonight. It's my roommate's 2-year anniversary. I was going to call, but the payphone was broken. Yet you're here and that makes all the difference. And you brought this twinkling orb with you. How nice. Yeah, nice. Imagine celebrating your love every 4 years. I can only imagine. Tully chimed in, feeling sore from all the smiling and nauseated from the chumminess masquerading on stilts. Harry, I forgot to ask, how is Bertie? And when are you bringing him over? I cannot get his sketches out of my mind. I want a large one of Andy Kaufman dressed as Elvis, or just the hair and the shades. Don't keep his caterpillar brows. Can't hide those cuties. I will talk to him for you. He's not busy these days. Thanks, I would love that. Thanks, I would love that. No drinks are on the house. What will you be having? Vodka, please. Likewise. Thank you, Lola. Lola leaves with a nose pinch for him and a departing glance of admiration for her. Who is she? Behaved Tully. She's like an older sister to me. Tully laughs, and somehow the sunflower looked as if it is drained of water. What's funny? I remember Anne would bring this older lady to our apartment, and I've never met her before. One night, I entered into whatever the heck they were talking about, and they're both terrified. Anne would tell me, meet my older sister Bella. I can hear his teeth grinding. That's how I know it's a farce. Bella would laugh when she knew she was safe. She would stand up from the couch and embrace me, smelling super expensive. I stayed through dinner he cooked. Em never cooks. And we saw Life of Brian together. Em's favorite movie. She laughed at everything he found funny. It was sickening. Em doesn't keep any pictures of anybody, even family, so there's no way for me to know. Aside from the wall of photographs he keeps in the bar for tourists. Anyways, that night, I got her a cab. He's wasted on her bed. I still needed to know if he was telling the truth, so I remembered he keeps his mother's number on the fridge. I called it. She picked up. I asked her, "Does Em have a sister?" His mother just laughed for 3 Mississippis and hanged up. Lola arrived with their drinks. Maybe it was actually his sister, Lola said, looking tenderly at the crumbling rose Harold came with. Tully took the shot and Harold did too. Unless I see a picture of them in the bathtub together as kids, then she's just another one of his whores. I love her for you, Harry, Lola went. We just met. I'm still getting to know her. Well, don't get too busy knowing her that she traps you into friendship with walls. What do you mean? Tully laughs at herself in secret conversation with a dream, giving her empty glass to Lola. Another, please. No problem, sweetie. Harold caught Lola's warning and smiles tenderly at Tully. Tully blows Harold a kiss and ends up taking out their candle. Hey, what does she mean by friendship as traps? Don't think about it too much. Stand up. Roxy Music's Oh Yeah began to play. Some expression in your eyes overtook me by surprise. Where was I? How was I to know? Harold took Tully's hand and led her footing to parallel with his. They sat before each other's non-judgmental stares and caused the twilight of their souls to harness their kicked breaths. Have you ever loved anyone? Loved? Oh, yeah. You're so ambiguous. Tully steps on his foot hard on purpose. Harold returns the pain gently. The two continue swaying to the guitar licks, trapped in their senseless twilight clearing in separate palettes. Who was she? Her name is, Adela. What happened? Did you know the Greeks had 6 definitions for love? Did you know you are deflecting? There's Eros, which is a passionate, romantic, familial love. Then there's Philia, which is a deep friendship, brotherly love. Then there's Ludus, which is a playful love. Elaborate on what you mean by playful. It's the type of lover who treats love as a game, having multiple conquests and finds it extremely hard to commit to one person. It's all about the chase, the intensive courting, the fucking excitement a person feels when a new person calls their name with love. Is that you? Harold pauses. Tully rolls her eyes. Continue. Then there's agape, which is love for everyone. It's the highest form of love because it's dedicated to the divine, to God, the open sky, the blackest night in all mankind, who sleeps below it. Which am I? I'm not finished. Your shot's here. Tully took a hold of Lola's free hand and kissed the back of it, then took her shot right in front of the pink-haired maiden. One more, love? It's your last one, sweetie. Thanks. Lola leaves. Tully meets Harold to proceed with their talk and dance. Sorry, go on, finish. Phragma is of long-standing love, founded in reason, a duty to the other person. Not really formed by sexual attraction because it's in favor of other qualities, and the lover's shared goal is to make it work. Like arranged marriages? You're catching on. That's 5 holes, take us home. Philautia. Sexy. Tully departs from Harold's arms as Nick Cave's Train Long Suffering began to play. She danced like a firecracker. Punch from the tunnel of love, is long and lonely, engine steaming like a fistful of memories. Harold is completely enthralled by her dancing as if it were a tribal duty. She'll swipe the hair off her face elegantly with one God-conscious finger. Go on, I'm listening. Philautia, as I was saying, is the love for oneself. The song ends. Lola shuts the radio and blew away the few remaining candles. The lights on the vine flicker off. Harold sat on his makeshift chair and watched Tully sit on the grass, trying to capture her overwhelmed breaths. She hides inside her turquoise sweater, resembling a giant blue rosebud, to bloom when the blue morning comes. Harold downs his second shot and sets it on the table with a newfound fragility for all things in motion. He'll collect the sunflower petals one by one, asking for forgiveness as he strips this flower of its dignity. Then he went over to Tully and rains the yellow petals through her neck hole. "You all right, sunflower?" Tully emerges. "You know, in Mexico there are 3 kinds of death. The first death is of innocence, when you realize your body will rot and decay and that you'll soon die. The awareness is a kind of death. The second is the moment you actually pass away." Tully stands up. A few petals were still on her hair, but she didn't mind them. Harold can't keep his eyes off it, though, and is tempted to remove them for her. Yet he holds back the urge from doing so. Instead, she sits before him on the table as Lola serves her a final shot. "To you, pink-haired goddess, my sincerest love," Tully went. "Ah, shucks, thank you. Listen, you both take all the time you need. Harry, it was a pleasure seeing you. Mwah." Lola exits up the wooden staircase, leaving the 2 stray flowers alone in each other's waking darkness. "What's the third death?" "The third death is the last time someone says your name." They sat in silence for a long while. They seemed supernaturally alone, in this patch of Eden they acquired through the generous provisions of fate. He couldn't match the intensity in which Tully looked at him or for him, so his eyes fell upon the burning candle Lola lit before she went. While they were dancing alone, only aware of what they think they know about love and existence, the candle sways serenely. "I'm engrossed by you, Tully. I'm engrossed by you. You're engrossed by me. I guess that means we're grossed out by each other." Tully blows the candle out. The moonlight became their guide, out of the eternity they've shared, through verbal interweaving of words that cannot be unsaid nor unfelt. A choreography their tongue will long for in their most desolate silence. "Where are we going?" Tully went. "What happened to courting silence?" Tully walked ahead of Harold into the unmapped forest, following a dark intuition. "I had this uncle who pissed on a tree that bore acorns. He did this every day of his life since he was 5, Tully said, refusing to intimate with silent dirt. "Why the hell would your uncle do such a thing?" "He has this mental problem, or it's superstition." "I don't know. Anyways, whenever I go to their place, the whole yard reeks of piss. Fortunately, the garden remains healthy, growing tomatoes, lettuce, and carrots. Christ, I would never eat anything that's been pissed on." Tully found a tennis ball stuck to a tree on a low-hanging branch. She jumped and caught it, but landed badly on her knee. Harold endeavors to help her up, but she shakes him off like batshit wind. "I'm okay." They proceed to walk. Tully plays catch with herself. Being the happy cat that she is, the tree no longer bears acorns. Big limbs would fall off, and I can see it decaying inside out. My uncle's piss killed that tree. Poor squirrels. Yeah. They let her rumination thaw for a bit before Harold caught the tennis ball in her next throw. "Let's go back. Let me take you home. They say a little native girl drowned here 100 years ago. Her name was Lara. She was only 12 when she was chased by a few boys after Sunday Mass. People say her yellow dress could be seen floating across the river during these hours." Tully continued down the slope. It got colder the further down they spiraled. "What's on your mind?" "The void," Tully went. "Go on, tell me about this void. Recite something." Tully almost fell, as a branch she held snapped. But not all of her was out of it. She quickly recovered like a spider with her webs. Slow currents would sound furiously. They were getting close. "Put on your fear, little boy. Fascination's river will drown you to me. Out with the embers, dry off the sunset oil, and rise. Break free out of our frugal vessel of earth and oceans, stained with piss, petrified semen, blood clots, and placenta residues. Here the cracks mention the unmentionable names of its lost sluts, thriving beyond the onset of infernal dawns, singing of their phantom love affairs with the gods. Harold sits down on damp sand as the shorelines reveal an expanse of rushing, dark lines of moonlit waters. He stripped mindlessly, hypnotized by the gorgeous flow of bliss, breathing in purity through his nose. Tully mirrored his dark intuition and began unzipping her large turquoise egg of a sweater. She stands before his stillborn frame. Sit down, and give me both your hands. This is amazing, Tully. How did you find this? Sit down and give me both your hands. Harold crossed his legs as Tully demonstrated. She'll take his hands and braid his fingers into a rose. He carefully admired her form's serene ghost under the moonlight's shimmering eyes. Where did you learn this? Tully was quiet, after helping him straighten his back. Then she lifted his chin up with 2 careful fingers. Harold closed his eyelids as she blinked shadows of liquid black from her eyes. Before he couldn't enter what he saw inside his mind, but when Tully braided his fingers into a rose, he entered with compassion at a particular memory. After my mother found out about my father's whore, she retreated to the bathroom and sat on the toilet seat. Just sitting there, she walked in on me in the tub, unaware that I was there. I heard her breathing in a deeply weird way. Then I peeked behind the curtain and saw her there with her eyes closed, not sleeping, somehow giving the impression that there's something about to wake. I went, "Mom, are you alright?" She opens her eyes like a newborn and caught mine. Then she says, "You're not here." She closed her eyes again, breathing that odd way. What she said flooded my heart for weeks, then months, even years later. Anyways, I dried myself off and left her alone like she wanted. She locked herself there for 12 whole hours. Tully gave his rumination the same courtesy she was given, and offered spaciousness she usually reserves for royalty. Harold opens his eyes to smile at hers, still raining down with black ink. Are they still together? Unfortunately. No matter who or what my father does, she always comes back, like a wet tennis ball on a dog's jaw. Her forgiveness is almost immediate. It kills me. Why does it make me laugh? There was this Buddhist monk who reached a state of satori. Does it hurt? I forgot what I was going to say. The water is so loud. Just try not to be a dick. Did the Buddha say that? Tully unravels her petals, taking off her sweater and embracing the chill as she stood, offering him her 2 luminous hands. Try not to be a cunt. Who said that? I did. They broke through the shoreline and went deeper and deeper into the golden blue arches the scattered waves made. They swam as one into the center, where the currents were least like a scyther on the field of ultramarine. Tully pulled Harold close to her and laid her head tenderly on his shoulder, breathing hard from the incredible chill. He held her collapsing body to his. I'm here. You are. I thought I was hugging a tree. Tully pulled away and gave Harold a virginal face, as if it never seen the stars. You're very handsome, Harold. When I was 12, I would pray to meet a handsome boy like you, and here you are. A boy. Oh boy, Tully said as she combed his fallen hair back. Harold caught her wrist and pulled her gently back to his body. She wrapped her arms around his neck like a scarf. Have you heard of Hermes? Is this another one of your Greek trivia? Yes. Tully laid on his chest, hearing his heartbeats go wild. Are you listening? I am. Hermes said, life is the union of word and mind. So words as deities. Yes, exactly. I've always thought of it that way. Murder. Harold shook her where she swam, happily startled. What are you doing? Praying. Rape. Tully followed this prayer with a massive laugh. Harold was convinced she was onto something and got in on the worship. Love. That. Whiskey. Pink hair. Tully emerges from the shorelines of the dark waters, beheld by the grace of moonlight silk. Harold was astonished by the infallible gravity of her seductive allure. He throws the tennis ball with accuracy, His aim was true. Look behind you. There's a yellow glow in the currents they occupied lovingly moments ago. The yellow light flows serenely from their view of an infinite space above Brett and is gone away. Tully went around where Harold sat, wearing just his underwear. She opens her sweater like a shell to offer shelter. Harold felt like a pearl. He felt safe inside her as she leans back against the tree and Tully's eyes began to close, sing-songed by the batshit wind. Harold, yes, Tully, don't let me vanish. They slept with fingers braided into each other's collapsing rows. Dawn arrives and Harold woke up alone, greeted by the shine of ancient morning light, pigmenting his horizon with oil variations. The currents were palpitating, so was his heart when he realized Tully was no longer there. Tully! Inside the Blue Nile, Jimbo and Jolene celebrated their 2-year anniversary. Wendell, a barkeep in his early 30s, resembled a hunter in the woods, who just caught a lucky buck. He has scrubbed chin, which he scratched intermittently, and green eyes like the hue Monet obsessed over in his work. He hands a manila folder to Jolene while he pours her a shot of vodka with lemon and refills Jimbo's glass with bourbon, and then pours one for himself, as closing time was half an hour overdue for the special occasion. Jimbo raised his glass to Wendell. To Jules. They took their drinks. Jolene was confused but downed her vodka. They were close. He called a few days ago, told me he was fired. It is what it is. We're always being prepared for what's next. What's next for Jules is working for his father. Wendell refills their glass. They clinked in honor of Jules's fate and drank it down. Jolene opens the manila folder and began scanning through each photo. They were paintings inspired by Bob Ross's landscapes. Where are these, Wen? In my head. No, I mean, is this an actual place you've been? They're places I wish existed. Oh, well, you're very talented. Jolene closed it tenderly and pushed it back into the artist's hands. Smidges of oil paint covered his wrist and elbow, magenta and gold. Did you have a muse? Jolene went. I didn't. I'm useless, Wendell said, amused with himself. It always comes down to that thing, doesn't it? Well, I'm proud to be Jimbo's muse. Jimbo, look at these, she said as she slides the folder to the next counter, but Jimbo's mind was occupied. Is he mad? Those are the only pictures we're looking at. Jimbo stared daggers at M, standing before the corkboard, taking out photos of Tully in various outfits and a few where nothing was left to the imagination. M rips it to pieces and seasoned the trash with them. Some people just don't appreciate art, Wendell went, giving Jimbo a contemptuous look, hiding his work somewhere safe from Jimbo's flaming judgments. Art is subjective. I just chose not to subject myself to yours with any fascination whatsoever. Are you still hung up about me and Jolene having history? It was only a few weeks in high school. Don't take it out on my work. Yes, she was in 9th grade, and you were first year college. Jolene, why are we having drinks here? What's wrong with the Queen's Cut? Jolene gave Jimbo a look that evaporated all tension. Forget it, alright? Jimbo, I mean no disrespect. I like you for Lena. Promise. Lena? Sweet, another cute nickname. I'm going to use it from now on, so it could be ours too, Jimbo said, childishly, kissy faces and all. Jolene, Wendell saw her terrified expression and instead poured her another of the vodka, as he wasn't that thrilled to play a compassionate ally. Jimbo got off his stool, giving Jolene a squeeze on the shoulder. Behave, Lena. Lena took her shot of vodka. M is in his late 30s, yet he is fit as a camel, and age-wise within his masculine components. He's clean-shaven, always wearing a polo shirt. The one he has on now costs about 2 bottles of premium whiskey. Lastly, his hair was tied up like a pineapple. It was definitely no match for the python Jackson is working with in the Queen's Cut. M, evening. Hey, I hear it's your anniversary. Thanks for having it here. How is Lena doing? I see everyone's calling her that but me. I watched those 2 kids grow up here. Jolene was this cute, skinny little chick in high school. I stopped Jules a few times from enabling her drinking. She's a bad alcoholic. You better watch her closely. Jimbo nods as if not surprised. His face is fucked by a gust of spicy irritation. I will. What happened there? You and the missus alright? Who, that lost slut? Missus? Sorry, breed man, I did not mean to provoke you. Relax. Em raises a hand. Wen came over. Poured me and Jimbo a shot of the good bourbon. What's wrong with the cheap stuff I was drinking? Jimbo made the crow's feet under M's eyes smile to compensate for the shot Wen poured. Jolene went to the jukebox, playing America's Three Roses. Thanks, Wen. Could you please watch Lena for me? Wen did as he was asked. Jimbo clinked glasses with M. Jolene was dancing alone, many times halfway fallen. Wen escorted Jolene back to her stool, with ice-cold water in place of her shot glass, untouched on the counter. When M went, the lad came in a haste, gesturing for Jolene to stay put. Yes, M. Tell Jimbo here what my Talulah has done. Easy. She took over $300 from the office vault, and Jules helped her out. They were also doing unholy things in there for months. Would you like me to list them out loud, sir? Wen recited like a soldier in command. No, not necessary. Go tend to Lena before she's a bent sunflower. Wen did a mechanical salute and went away to tend to Lena. She was busy scooping ice with her cup, just watching it melt. I see. Christ, don't worry, people come and go. Did you know I keep a shotgun under my desk? Is it loaded? Yeah. Isn't that a bit extreme? You don't know how easy you have it. I grew up with a father in prison and a psychopathic mother who almost drowned me and my older sister, one too many times. Luckily, my uncle took us in, and soon enough, inherited his bar. My parents are nothing but a depository of the most wicked demons. My older sister tried to take her life. She was going to jump over a bridge. Fucking theater shit. She wasn't successful, by the way. Ended up flying abroad with some guy and hiding from me for over 10 years. May as well have been bones underwater. M took a shot. Jimbo poured for him his next one. My goodness, if that didn't make my mother madder in the madhouse, Christ. Then there's Talulah, this young whore I found trying to sell herself for $10 under the bridge. Something in me at that time just clicked. So I took her home, cared for her, fed her 3 meals a day, clothed her nicely. I gave her my root, please, free. And this is how the count repays me. All I want is one woman who's pure and innocent. She's just as fucked up as the other woman in my life. M took another shot. Jimbo did too. M pushed for them both. Where is she now? Why take down pictures of her? It puts me in a bad place. The one my father says lived in him when Mom comes to mind. I never touched her, just so you know. She was like a little sister to me. She doubted my intentions at first, but she slowly understood what I was doing in keeping her. 5 whole years we sustained the charade. I've been paid for a community college. Writing, can you believe that? It's like she wants back under the bridge, selling herself for a burger and shake. I try to push her to pursue other trades, but she's a stubborn nutcase. That's that. I started packing her bags last night, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I have no idea where she is. M wasn't a weeper. Jimbo saw the man cracking up instead. Listen, man, that is a lot you've unpacked. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Jimbo was about to make an exit from his stool, from the talker, when M's arm wrapped around his, into a buddy formation. It felt wrong for Jimbo to break that sacred hold. He took a shot and breathed it through his nose, while deep and knife wound slow. My father once told me, son, a man is a world waiting to be changed by a woman. This clung to me hard growing up. I told my mother what my father said, and she'll overreact like she does, slapping me hard on the gums for visiting him in prison. I was always honest to her about when I'm seeing him. Anyways, my mother would say, and Emmett, what is a woman to a man? A god? Your father's Lucifer's ass. No living soul with some sense would want to live in that man's world. I just laughed along with her. It was a warm moment, and those were few. My father died of a heart attack recently. During and after his funeral, my mother got stupid drunk, laughing like a fat Buddha. Try lifting your whale of a mother off the carpet. Christ. Jimbo took Tully's photograph from under the bottle, just now realizing when used a photo of her as a coaster. Em stared at it, after releasing it from Jimbo's hand. Emmett's dam broke. The man really cried onto his hands. Jimbo held that devastating sight for a good while and found Wen and Jolene staring too. Thanks, Em. We got to hit the road. Thank you again for the drinks. Em never escaped his hands to breathe and resumes crying into his fist. When can you call us a cab? Wen nodded and punched in a few numbers. Jolene tried her best to walk straight, making it to the door in an awkward dance. Jimbo felt suffocated and held Jolene to him, lovingly, as soon as they exited from the bar. The smell of wet paint made their eyes water, amongst other irritants. Lost slut. What? I'm sorry I took you here. It's okay, I didn't mind it one bit. Wen's work sucks. Oh yeah, fucking terrible. They shared a moment's peace as the cab parked on the curb. Come on, let's go home. Take me to Emily. The moment's peace is deep-ended. I caught you off guard, didn't I? She's... Can I meet her? She's... I'm sorry, we don't have to. Yes, I'll take you to her. Really? If it will make you happy. It won't, but it'll make you happy. The cab honked once. We're coming. Jolene got in the front seat. Jimbo sat in the back and announced their destination. 3 roses were bought with you in mind. I gotta stop and see what I'm on about. Stop and feel what I want with you. 5 weeks ago in the Blue Nile, Jimbo raises his hand for a 3rd trip of brandy. He is watching a young lady drinking alone. Suddenly she catches his eyes, making her flustered and blushing burgundy. Jules knocks on the table, God loud, snapping Jimbo out of it. David Bowie's Moonish Daydream played mid-burst. Don't fake it, baby. Lay the real thing on me. The church of man love is such a holy place to be. I know that look, Jimbo. Don't get greedy, you already have Jolene. Stare at that girl another second and I'm going to tell her to leave. I see. Jolene scares you too. She's the perfect irony, Jimbo. She's freaky charming and intense, plus she could take her liquor down and still dance like sheets on a clothesline. Out in the evening breeze. Stop me before I break into song. I see Jolene has another admirer. Who doesn't admire Jolene? I'm happy that she finally committed to somebody. Out of everything in the menu, I'm glad she chooses you. Menu? Never mind that. Shit, man, I remember Jolene started coming here during grade school. 5 times a week, always in the afternoon. When classes are usually over, she'll do her homework on the bar counter. I'd help the odd thing with English. I wanted to be a philosophy teacher, you know. Out of everything in the menu, I'm glad you chose bartending. Watch it, bastard. Jules produced a book from under the counter and hands it to Jimbo, taking his empty bowl of pretzels away, replenishing the bowl as he smoothed talks of memory. Beyond Good and Evil, Friedrich Nietzsche. Jolene was on a hot date one night in high school. What was the fucker's name? Anyways, not important. He would wrap this book in fancy velvet paper and present it to her. I was managing their non-alcoholic drink orders when I hear Jolene laughing at the gift given to her. It broke this guy's posture. It was so instant. Just wrecks him with that laugh. You know it better than most. I get chills just thinking about it. Anyway, she would have shoved the book in her bag. Then, when their cokes were done and the kid got tired of seeing Jolene laugh in the middle of his sentences, the nameless dude went to the bathroom. Jolene knocked on the counter and tells me, Jules, here, hide this. I hate being intellectually masturbated. Pour me some vodka with my coke, please. How do I tell this guy to fuck off? Jolene sounds like a complete bitch. She's your complete bitch. I don't understand her. She never gets mad properly. What do you mean? We've been together for almost 2 years now. Our anniversary is coming up soon on the 29th of February. She's hilarious. That's no accident. She told me once how ridiculous it'd be to have an anniversary on a day that only comes by every 4 years. One moment Jolene could be generous and joyful with her words. then like a switchblade, transform into this porcupine, needles all over and inside you, needles all over and inside me. It's like making love with a cactus. Weeks ago, she's telling me about a goldfish she named after her dead uncle and cry about it for hours alone, locking herself inside the room. I didn't know how to respond to that. What do I do to help her? That's Jolene, alright. One time she'd come over after an exam. She'd be really proud and happy that she passed everything. The corkboard is full of her test papers and honors. Sometimes she'll even hop over the bar area, embracing me as if I was her father or something. I'd pat her on the hair, telling her to pull away, people are watching us, with warm looks. Then a minute later she would pull out her papers, pins would drop, and hide until found in someone's foot. She'll snowball them and throw it at me, shouting curses. That woman, I swear, I think she was 17 when that happened. While I was courting Jolene, she'd let me feel as if I'm the only one trying, the only one being affectionate. She wouldn't even let me hug her or hold her hand in the beginning, and she'd block her ears and pretend not to hear me when I want to say I love you. Ah yeah, she especially hates compliments. She'll throw the nearest thing to wound you. I told her once that her hair looked beautiful. She had it combed straight and neat. It still smells wet and cold from the shower. The wind dried it and made it dance in place. I would comment on the holy detail I was tripping on. Afterwards, she'll go back inside and come back out wearing a hat, tucking all that hair in a cap. Fuck Jules, you know why I put up with her? Because of her extraordinary beauty? Yes, and also because she fascinates me to no end. Where is she tonight? What's really the matter? She's at home with her parents. We had an argument about having children. I told her she's all I need. I told her she's all I needed. That we should just get a dog. It'd be the same thing. The next thing she does is give me that look. I'm sure you've seen it too. Anyway, she'd go to the phone, pack a bag, and leave the apartment. Took my car too. I've been taking the bus for 2 days and staying at her place alone. I hear you. Now answer me this. Is being a father such an impossibility for you, Jimbo? I never wanted children. Bringing me here was the most selfish thing my parents ever did. It's maddening. But it's Jolene. Think about her joy and happiness. A new person that is half you and half the person you love most. It's why you're here. Kids are a way to remain here. Jules knocked on wood. What other noble pursuits could equal the majesty of that? Jimbo takes a shot. Joel looks away from the silhouette of the unraveling man. Pour me another shot, and then I will call it a night. It's 1 a.m. Can I call you a cab? I'm calling you a cab. No, thank you, Jules. Promise me you won't throw that book away. Read it. I will. Jimbo takes his last shot. Reads the line highlighted in the first page. Supposing truth is a woman, what then? Jimbo pockets the book and leaves some money on the pretzel bowl and nods farewell to Jules. He caught the eyes of the woman drinking alone, raised a hand to her in greeting and in good riddance. Jimbo makes for the exit. A gong went inside his heart. Jimbo walked the cement path sorrowfully, staring up at the headlights as if it were hovercrafts. He recites the names of the streets out loud to himself to keep from thinking about Jolene. His will to make it home was weakening. Without Jolene to warm his bed, drinks lost their illuminating power. A flash of light ascends from the distance. He surrenders to its pull and began stepping on his own 2 feet. Anxious as his shadows grew and consumed the moonlit pavements, the greenhouse stood before him, divine in its induction to his intoxicated resolve. A woman in her mid-20s exits out. She has jet black hair tied into a bun. She has beautiful milk skin and her lips shown a deep blue. Her slim body is covered with yellow rays of coat, extending to her knees. After pulling out a set of keys, she endeavors to lock the door. Suddenly a shadow blocked her light, making it difficult. She turns around to meet Jimbo. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. What is this place? It's a greenhouse, sweetie, and not to worry, I'm jumpy because I had way too much coffee. I really want to finish this book. Really? I thought I was the only one who drinks this late. Do you have the time? It's 1:23. Jimbo's hour. Is Jimbo a saint of morning snacks? No, I am Jimbo. I just can't help memorialize this exact time. This moment is alright. Yeah, Jimbo reveals himself in the light. I'm sorry I'm keeping you from your book. I'm just feeling wonderful all of a sudden. All thanks to you. Want a fast tour? Her shining smile withstood the darkness. I'm Emily, by the way. Like Dickinson. Yes, are you familiar with her works? Emily held the door open for Jimbo. Enlighten me. What a terrifying place. Emily found him amusing. How so? When I was 5, I got lost in the forest near the park. They found me, but I wasn't the same since. That banana tree is taunting me to climb it. Well, don't. Not yet. I won't let you. Ever. Show me the sights. Jimbo passes by a small circular table with a Tupperware lid, labeled Emily. Homemade food remained inside half eaten. A scarf is on the spine of the seat, tied like a snake on an armrest. My parents were poets. They never agreed on much. Their styles were completely different. My mother would lean more on Bukowski's stuff, while my father's more of a Rumi fanatic. But when it comes to Emily, though, there's adorable as muffin baked by morning light. What is that? It looks good. It is good. I made it myself. Have you had jambalaya before? No. May I? Jimbo sat down and ate the rest of what remains. He was in rapture of the taste. Are you actually here? Yes, I'm here. Jambalaya. That's cute. No, don't talk and chew. Finish up, then we'll resume with the tour. Mm-hmm. Emily ties the scarf around her shoulders. Do you like my armadillo scarf? Is it made of real armadillo? Of course not. It looks pretty on you. Thanks. Jimbo sets his spoon down. That was insane. It's forgiveness food. I must make this for Jolene sometime. Jolene, is she your sister? Mother? Grandmother? You know what, Emily, she's all three and more. Thanks for making me realize that. My pleasure, Jambalaya. Jumbo closes the lid and finds Emily's reserved gaze. Should I wash this? No, just leave it there. Come on, let me show you around. Emily proceeded towards the pasture of flowers in varieties of excellent colors. Jimbo followed beside her like a ray of light. I know some of these. My aunt grew a garden in the back. Go ahead, I'll just be here if you need their Latin origins. Your sarcasm is flawless. Sorry. Never apologize for being charming. Consider me a charmer? Jimbo gave her a tender look of kindness. How many can you name in our pat? Okay. So there's geranium, petunias, those are salvias over there, ferns, nice set of poinsettias there. Chrysanthemums, I remember running into these in the forest. I'm not familiar with this one though. I'm surprised they're not all in the forest. Jimbo shifted his body to give her room and clumsily elbows a hanging pot. Sorry. Never apologize for being clumsy. Consider me clumsy. Jimbo blushed and fumbled for a topic to reset the vibe. Do you know any of your parents' poems by heart? Wise tulips close the gap between the love scenes. Tombs where farewell harbors sin. Trust the dangerous morning's exhausted flesh. I am yours for the taking, wrote the shadows in her soil bed. Well, let me guess, your father wrote that. I did. When? Just now. The flowers talk to you? How did you know? You know, Jolene can recite Ralk by heart. Are you familiar with him? Spring has returned. The earth is like a child that knows poems. You are familiar with him. I guess I am. Suddenly Jimbo knocks over a pot. It broke into unflattering pieces between them. The blue flowers buried themselves with soft brown soil. They knelt over the scene trying to recover the casualties. You smell like brandy. I have some in the cabinet. Would you like to drink with me? No, I think I have to go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... I understand. Pass me the empty pot behind you and the shovel, please. Jimbo attends to what he is commanded to procure. What now? Put the dirt back in the pot. Will we plant the bluebells together? It's a very delicate procedure. We don't want to piss off the fairies. The fairies? Emily looks at him all serious and motions for Jimbo to work faster. After Jimbo fills the pot a third of the way, Emily gently lifts the bluebell bunches from its roots off soil inside, patting it gently with her palm. They set the newly operated bluebells down carefully on the same spot. Emily closes her eyes and set a hand on her heart. Jimbo mirrored her ritual stance. Together they pray. In the name of the bee, and the butterfly, and of the breeze. Amen. I'll pay for what I broke. You just did. Jimbo stands before Emily's car window. The engine is humming and ready to go off any minute now. She was obviously delaying her departure. Jimbo saw her hands shaking on the wheel. Maybe next time I'll take you up on that drink. I'm looking forward to it. Send my best to Jolene. Rest easy, Jambalaya. Jimbo presented her with a melancholy smile. She drove up the hill and is inhaled by the morning fog. Jimbo patiently walks the rest of the way home, feeling resurrected, beyond sobered up. His face is kissed by incredible sorrow that made him forget about old ones regarding Jolene. His heart began reciting impure thoughts with merciful tones. The torturous qualities of those sobering thoughts felt earned, so he took countless shots of it, just enough to get him home. 5 weeks later, a cab parks on the curb. Jolene walks out and Jimbo ran to the other side to help her stand up. The cab driver went out of his seat and watched the swaying woman with concern. Need any help? I'm fine, boss, thank you. I'm Tyler, ma'am. I don't think he can carry you alone. He has, and he will for his remaining years. Tyler, we're fine here. Good night. Jimbo, watch your tone. He's only trying to help. Okay, sir, here's your change. Keep it. Tyler went to Jolene and handed her the money. Jimbo watched his hand fold around hers softly and pull away. Enjoy your night, Tyler. We'll be okay. I pity him. Jimbo pretended to mute Tyler's final words to Jolene. The cab drove away as dawn shone pale gray in the horizon. The night burns thin. Lead me to her. Jimbo tried to take her hand, but she refused it and made determined steps away from him, following the radiant glass cabin in the distance down a winding slope. Take my hand or I'm not letting you in. You and your ultimatums. Forget it, you're killing me, Joe. You're making me do this. I'm not making you do anything. Come on, let's go home. Not until I speak with her. Jolene collapsed as she tried to speed away from Jimbo's dark energy radius. She rolled a few meters down the slope and laughed as she landed on flat land, on dandelion-smacked grass. Jimbo offered his hand to her, sweating with concern and angry that she wasn't more careful. Take my hand, please. I'll take you to her. Just don't run from me. I hate that. 2 years. Is that all we got? Jolene laughs, defying his question, lifting herself off the ground and dusting off the pollen which clung to her orange dress. Jimbo opens the entrance with a key hidden in a blue pot. Jolene came inside and triggers the automatic light sensors. A wooden bench appears nearby. She lays there and becomes one with it, growing vines of stunned breaths. My brain hurts a lot. Jolene wakes up, finding herself laying on a single foam mattress surrounded by flowers and vegetations all around her. Many exotic scents flirted with her soul's restlessness. An unfamiliar scent of hot, sizzling food blesses the airwaves. Jimbo prepared jambalaya on a portable stove and sets the hot pot on the center of the small metal table, steaming. He pops open a black bottle, pours one champagne glass with cranberry wine, sits with his haggard face, deeply longing for Jolene's caring spirit, and maybe civil conversation. Her tea is chilling on Jolene's side of the table, if she chooses to face him and drink up his courteous gesture. Jolene sits up, doesn't know what face to wake up in. Do you always drink her wine? She won't mind. How are you feeling? Chai. It's chamomile. Sit with me, Jolene. I will tell you anything you want. All I ask is that you appreciate and respect this place. How do you even find a place like this? I don't know. Something led me here. Brandy led you here. Fine. Brandy led me here. I should have taken a cab home back to your place. When we had that argument about having kids, and you left to be with your parents, I lost that excitement to go home. Home is where you are, and you weren't there. You thought I left because we had an argument. I just needed to get away from you, that's all. That's because you're a coward when it comes to talking through an issue. Sit down, your tea is getting cold. Jimbo took a drink of the cranberry wine, closing his eyes as to remember the first glass Emily poured for him a month ago. Jolene sat down on her seat and drank her tea. As soon as Jimbo set his wine down, she took a hold of it and emptied the red into the pot of bluebells near the table. Jimbo was horrified, paralyzed in his seat. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? I've known you for over 2 years and I just find out you like to work with flowers. And you hid this woman from me? Emily's not guilty of anything. Please don't talk about her as if she wronged you. Then tell me what it is you did here with her. It's not just tending to the garden. It's tending patiently to life. That I did here with Emily. From nourishing the soil, to knowing which seeds grow which, how far apart certain species of tomatoes must be planted from one another, how much water it gets or sunlight exposure, and hell, it taught me a thing or two about that. Jimbo puts the lid on the black bottle, sets it down under his chair. Jolene hollows her teacup. Yeah, tell me about that. She told me how that is the most delicate dream a soul should strive for all his human life. It's the summer wind from an open window in the corner of a large room. It's the closing door of your childhood home. We are blessed in that our souls strengthen through agony. When a plant dies, she'll just laugh, because nature, she says, is infallible. That people are frightened to believe this being true of themselves too. She always preferred to word things optimally. Just one morning I said something that made her weep, because I brought some negative feelings from home to her little Eden. I told her how life is easily replaceable by another life. That what it's replaced with is mostly a cheap imitation or a remembrance of love lost. What time is she coming in today? Jolene couldn't believe the sorrow in Jimbo's face, emerged with forceful passions. He let it all out in display to convey Emily's hold on him. Jimbo blinked away the hurt and began to stir the pot of their special breakfast jambalaya. Try it. Jimbo took a spoonful and offered it to Jolene. She took it graciously. It enhanced her soul's aperture to the phenomena of breaking. She held her ruthless mind at bay and is voluntarily speechless so he could have more say. It took me a few tries to perfect it. I'm happy that finally I made my favorite meal for my favorite girl in my favorite place. I love you, Jolene. More? Jolene wept as she took another spoonful from Jimbo's steady hand on the paddle. Jimbo handed her the wooden spoon and she fed him. They alternated until there was nothing left inside the pot. It was the most silent and spacious meal they had together. The most intimate. More was said in that wormhole that devoured than in the words forged by insecure prayers. Where's that bottle? It's 4 a.m. So? Jimbo set the bottle on the table, uncaps it, and pours. Filling Jolene's teacup, she downs it gradually. Her heart began to craft poetry about what it now pumps of. We need to bring a bottle home. This is the last one. You shouldn't have wasted some on the bluebells. My bad. No, the fairies might not mind. The fairies? Never mind. Anyways, she never taught me how to make them. She'll harvest from the pastures out back and worked on it at her place. And no, she never invited me there. She tells me all the time how lucky I am with you. Emily wouldn't dare break that pot. Jimbo pours her another and watched Jolene hand it to him with 2 careful hands holding each end. Here's to Emily. Jimbo downs it, while feeling risen up by Jolene's change of heart. That was the best meal I ever had. What do you call this? Jambalaya. Jambalaya! They took the rest of the bottle to the back of the garden, sitting on a bench commemorating Emily's devotion to the personable greenhouse and its beatific produce. Jolene was aware of how strong Jimbo was during each step they took to arrive there, and the time passed since they sat down. Unable are the loved to die, for love is immortality. Jimbo drank from the bottle, then passes it to Jolene. Nay, it is a deity. Jolene took a drag as Jimbo holds the shape of the final syllable. I like her. Jolene stole a fragile glance as he felt Jimbo gather her inside his arms before the pain became too noticeable. They melted on each other on the soft wooden bench like primordial sunlight. I like her too. Jolene unfolds a quilt she found in a milk crate. While doing the dishes earlier, her eyes explored like a child inside a toy store. Jimbo was snapping in the foam mattress. His breathing was pure music. I couldn't find the courage to go back here. You're the embodiment of that courage, Jolene. Their eyes tenderized the golden plaque with the engraving of a name. Emily U. Oria. Did you love her, Jim? Not in the way I feel about you. I said what I felt for her to those flowers, though. I'd ask them periodically, how can each one of you remain so perfectly precise? I'm exalted by your temporal beauty, and I am astonished by the tiniest details of your design, of every petal's cosmic word. Emily heard me talking to them like this, and instead of calling me crazy, she knelt before the flowers I was planting and said to them, why can't I plant people in my gentlest soil without feeling like I'm favoring one from the other? Jimbo took a sip and handed what remains to Jolene. She took it down with gratitude and set the bottle under the bench with gentle motions. We can't have a say on who we may, and fascination is everywhere. Pretty women, pretty men, pretty gestures, and pretty words said by pretty eyes. Pretty just about dresses the whole of existence. Some people still don't see this. It's not all bleak or mutilated. It's not all there to cut us up, to love us and fuck us to ruins. I'm sorry for being immature when you said you wanted a family. If I had a ring on me, I would kneel before you right here and now to ask for your hand in marriage. Listen, I love you, but you're so full of nonsense. Are we gold? We're silver. Emily called me one night while you were in the bath. She tells me, Jolene is lucky to have you as her beautiful pain, as you are mine. Her voice sounded weak when she said that. Jolene wrapped Jimbo in the quilt and words revealed itself in tightly woven stitches. Unable they that love to die, for love reforms vitality into divinity. Jolene and Jimbo slept through the rising of the sun. Jolene dreamed of her newborn in her arms, while Jimbo recounts Emily's final call. Over and over. Time's miracle is unbounding two people by it. Always two people. Why is that? Because being unbound alone is too tragic for words to translate. It is the present day. Night is approaching. Jolene sits in the shotgun seat, looking for a CD, while Jimbo is filling up the car with gasoline. It was only yesterday that they left the apartment and said goodbye to their beloved friends. Jimbo heads inside to pay for the gas and came out with 2 cups of coffee, passing one to Jolene as he enters the car. Where's the CD Harold made me? Where's the CD Harold made me? I gave it to Orchid. The kid needs it. I need it. Jolene bursts into tears. Jimbo lights a cigarette and takes a deep drag as he drove out the station. Jolene takes it off his mouth and adjusted her seat as the windows came down. She inhales deep the nicotine trip and with pleasure exalted a dream. I need it. Jimbo lights his own, laying a tender hand to hush hers. Trembling. 2 years ago in the terrace, Jimbo caps the highlighter and closed his book for good. He finds the burn bucket and introduces new contents, tearing pages at random, grateful for the later warmth it'll bestow. Jimbo went back inside the kitchen, determined to clean up his mess, wiping the droplets of red on the counter, the floors, and the wall, and anywhere else the crimson sand hardened and clung to. Dolly walks in on him, squeezing the wet rag over the sink, freeing red ooze to spiral in the drain. She watched fascinatingly while setting the plates and utensils they used on the damp sink. Thank you for the hospitality. I'm grateful, Jambalaya. I'm glad. You're very welcome. It's nice seeing Harold happy. Stay as long as you want. I'll make dinner extra special. I'd love that. I'll run it by Harry. Where is he? I think he's with Lena. We heard her crying. He's by her door trying to decide if it's His to supper, true. Clearly it's yours, jambalaya. Clearly you're a joy, Talulah, I swear. They shared a smile of understanding. Jimbo dries his hands onto a new rag, and Tully began to wash the dishes. Tully, can you do me a favor? Of course, what is it? There's a pot of bluebells on the table. Would you find it a nice spot on the terrace? I appreciate you. Likewise. That will be done, jambalaya. Jimbo left the kitchen and made for Jolene, hoping Harold didn't betray his principles. Tully dries off her hands and fled the kitchen. She made for the bluebells on the table, astounded as she carried it close to her pounding heart. Harold stood by the door, sitting against the wall, staring daggers at the wall clock ticking like a bomb desperate to deliver the boom of extinction. Jimbo came into view, reached out a hand to help Harold to his feet. Tully's in the terrace waiting for you. I'll talk to Lena. She'll be okay. Thank you, Harry. Listen, don't muck up what you have with Tully. Chase after her if she drives away. Honor loves wheel, which makes a roadkill out of immortal men. Now go, get run over. Jimbo enters the room and closes the door shut. The faulty faucet drips and duets with the talkative lashes of the wall clock. Jolene lived under the quilt of Jimbo's skin as they made a sacred meal of the present moment, trusting Jolene with the future man or woman he will bestow into her arms in 9 months' time, a new person with a mortal name, inside which a universe readies itself to play the only game. Tully sets the pot on the corner. Harold stood beside her, admiring the spot she has chosen to trap him in, his eyes pinballs from Tully to the proud bluebells. Harold pulls a crate from under a small wooden table and procures 2 glasses, filling each with 2 fingers of Irish whiskey. Thanks. I just wanted to celebrate you. They clink glasses and down their drinks masterfully. He sets their glasses back in the crate and kicks it under the small wooden table. These are nice. Jimbo told me to put them out here. Ah, I see. What is it? They're bluebells. You know what they say about bluebells? No, I don't know. Hey, listen, I'm sorry I left you all alone by the Lara River. You really committed to being an agent of the Phantom Knight. What will you do to make up for it? I can apologize to you in 6 different languages. Harold eased closer to her, and her receptivity was satellite speed. Tully closed her eyes and tilted her head to fix into his love's corpus. Harold kissed her 6 times. A sweet tenderness was equipped. Cutting the deadline of hanging exhales into halves, Tully sneaked her 6 apologies. At the withdrawal of each sanctioned kiss, Harold provided a sensual echo. Asif, pardon, pardon, persam, antexi, antiquity, yashpet me. Louder, please. Sorry. It's okay. Their gaze sang of a divine sermon about a love stamped with courageous action. Her knees were about to give in, suddenly shy to enter deeper into Harold's inviting arms. Upon pushing into her, Tully kicked the pot of bluebells up the terrace with her heel. It is the present day, the bare next clearest morning. Sar is by the terrace door, showing the police officers the way to Harold's limp, hanging corpse. The last 3 fingers of the Irish whiskey is on a clear glass occupying his left hand in secret, drinking it down blissfully as the smell of his decomposing friend heightens. People surrounded the apartment perimeters, and police tape lines important exits and controlled entrances. They are on standby and parked in visible corners, waiting for new waves of horror to deem their protective stances meaningful. An emergency vehicle arrives, and a stretcher enters in with a body bag 3/4 of the way closed, due to a broken zipper. The female's head poked out slightly. It contained the rotted remains of Ada. Bert is weeping violently, shadowing the hurried trails of the EMS workers. He would enter the emergency vehicle with her body, drying his eyes with a belly full of shirt. He'll skirt over the horrified gaze of Jimbo and Jolene as they exit their car, parked a distance from the apartment building, as people gathered in for a rare show about the parking lot spaces. Jolene and Jimbo were frozen pillars, growing thorny vines. They listened and watched fiercely for the emergency vehicles fleeing the scene. The sirens blared ominously. Souls in the vicinity of the terror were deafened by the Morse code that severs the morning air with. Their imaginations flare with residual visuals of what silence used to inhabit before the sound of hissing demons became of their chase neighborhood. The majority were transfixed on the sixth-floor terrace at Harold's hanging body. They can see light absorb into his glass eyes, wide open into the vastness of spectators beyond the planet he arrived and departed from. The sky turned a rustic bronze as the police officer tried to lift his body from the now freed rope. Sar assisted in the tug-of-war with gravity. The two massive officers had the appropriate build. This assured those with optimistic foresights on how this will play out. Suddenly, and finally, a blue bird lands on Harold's cheek, giving gravity an edge over the three struggling men, and so the rope slipped from their helpless hold. People wished their eyes were trained on the spot, soon to intertwine Harold to the earth. His body falls 6 flights in 3 seconds and makes headlines on the parking lot. Far worse sounds could be heard from people's reactions, shamelessly enduring the finest details in real-time discovery. It was the final drum beat, sanctioned into providence for the opera attendees, an intense melody which will play out its many renditions throughout their entire lives. The rats will feast in glory, indeed. Tully watched through the police car window. Her cups began to cut skin from her persistent punches at the glass, especially reactive at the damaged efforts to bring Harold down. They got him down, all right. She heard him land, his body made like a Pollock painting on the hard cement. A murder brats fled, scattering from under dumpsters to investigate, trampling over Harold's masterwork. His impermanent ink were being distributed by their little feet. A few will be killed in between restaurant buildings, having the luxurious death Harold could only wish for in comparison to his fatal exhibition. Tully laughed loudly and began kicking the front seats of the police car. As tears flooded her face, her vision massacred by madness, as agony in its purest form infused itself into her corneas. The police officers watched unsympathetically from the rearview mirror. Finally, they got off their seats to see Harold's body up close. The thunderous sound of bones shattering on stone woke them up from their caffeine withdrawal or last night's hangover. Tully calmed herself soon enough, back to her seat, eyes throbbing red. She wore a wicked smile which the highest beast would squirm in the sight of. Tully heard a knock on her window. It was Jolene and Jimbo. They waved at her emotionlessly. Tully closed her eyes and kept them closed, praying to any god that these two shades disperse. And so, she endeavored to change the channel of her mind to any sacred memories on file. Thus, she went there. It was the perfect place. It was 2 years ago. Tully remembers pulling Harold close fearfully, hiding her face inside his shirt. They awaited the sound of the pot cracking as it fell 6 flights down in 3 seconds. The bluebells were miraculously unharmed. The soil resembled a tiny anthill. The rats were a curious bunch, peeking from their hidden shacks. Apartment windows would crack open to see what that echoing bell was that tolled, which interrupted their board games and dinner conversations, which began with, "How's everyone's day?" A few bluebells were undressed by the wind, while the few which remained were buried peacefully in centimeters of chunky soil. The garbage trucks were on their way. Their massive wheels would pulverize the pot and press the flour into pure water. "The fairies will kill me," Tully said. I'll take your place," Harold responds assuredly. Harold held her tighter, looking behind her shoulder at the bluebells and its scrambled form, cursing the science of what it means to break.